Okay, hello and welcome everybody to Rollin' Heavy. We are your super heavies, Big D, and joined by always by good friend, brother, rolling partner, the notorious BOF. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Busy week at work. We got a
Yep.
full schedule of rolling in this week.
Mm-hmm.
First time in a couple of weeks, so feeling pretty good today.
Yeah, it was good. Definitely tough rolls, but
Yeah, I
it was
iced the
good.
shoulder down a little bit when I got home. It's feeling a little better. I'll probably ice it once more before I go to bed.
Yeah, rolling like you're 20, but you're not.
No, no, definitely not 20. And I saw a meme the other day that said, "Rolling when you're 30s. There's no longer injuries. It's just minor disabilities for the rest of your life."
Basically, I feel that.
Yeah, so hopefully my shoulder's been bugging me a little bit since last week when we did the violin.
Yeah.
And then uh, half guard sweeps did not help.
No. But
It
what's funny, you mentioned the age thing because I just watched you told me to watch the Eddie Bravo Wheeler Gracie fight
yeah,
or roll. It's a roll, and let's be honest. I we all say roll, we all say fight, but honestly, it's the Eddie Bravo versus Wheeler Gracie roll. I mean, if you fight in jiu-jitsu, you roll, right? Because a fight includes strikes and stuff like that.
yeah. This is a straight up
So
jujitsu match.
so their roll, holy cow! And if you guys haven't seen it, YouTube it. Um, Eddie
Insane.
Bravo versus Wheeler Gracie. It's what 20 minutes of just rolling hard. No points, no nothing. It's submit, submit or draw.
Pretty
That was the
much.
fight.
Yep.
That was the roll. That was the roll. Submit or submit or be done, or submit or draw, and it is a crazy roll.
Yeah, just
But
the
looking at it,
technique is. I'm just I watched it again today because you told me you watched it. I'm like I gotta watch this again, so I watched it at lunch, and man, it was
well, and
just
it's like
crazy.
I'm watching it. I'm like I don't know all of the rolls. I know several full. I know several techniques or whatever. But I'm like, but even the announcers are like, look, I consider myself pretty versed in jujitsu. I have no idea what they're doing right now. Like the moves that they're doing are so beyond what any standard black belt
Yep.
can do.
Yep.
Like, and the stuff that they end up with, and like, and Eddie Bravo's, electric chair. I'm just like, that's an insane move, man.
Right.
Like,
Well, to even set up to
any
get to
non
that.
any non-human person or any human person would have tapped out weeks ago,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and j- and Wheeler didn't. So it was just it's an amazing fight. But the point of that was is like when they had this match forever ago, um, and I believe this was their second match. They fought or they rolled 15. So this match was or this roll was 15 years in the making. They rolled 15 years earlier where
And Eddie
Eddie
Bravo
Bravo
beat him.
Eddie Bravo beat him with a
Uh,
triangle choke, and everybody's like, "That's a." I mean, and at the time, nobody knew who Eddie
Right.
Bravo was, right?
Right.
You want to get put on the map. Let's
Beat
talk
a
about
beat a Gracie
let's
in jiu-jitsu.
be yeah be probably the greatest jujitsu roller or competitor at the time was probably Wheeler, and Eddie Bravo caught him in a triangle and choked him out,
Yep.
and that put Eddie Bravo on the map. And so, fast forward 15 years down the road, they have this match, and they're at the young age of I think Hoyler was 48 at the time and Eddie Bravo was 43 during this role. And if you tell me that they're not 25 when I
Yeah.
start watching that match, I'm gonna tell you I mean they are conditioned and they are rolling hard for 20 minutes, and it's it's I mean it's impressive. It's impressive,
Yes.
but and I think we can kind of tie that into today's subject is they had to be for them to fight 15 years later where they're no longer string or spring chickens. They 100% had to be disciplined and dedicated to their craft.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, this. I mean, and to get to that kind of level, like you can't. Like you can't just kind of float through and get to that kind of a level. Like it takes a level of discipline and dedication to get there, right? Like it's not.
For anybody that yes, for
Yeah.
anybody that's holding a black belt, you know that this is a they made a lifestyle change probably 10 years prior
Yep.
for them to get to that black belt point. And like you can be, you can, you know, you can be semi-casual, I would say, and get to a blue belt and stop there, you know.
Yeah.
I've known
A couple
I've known
going a
people
couple of years, right?
I know people that have been on blue belts for there's a couple of people in our gym that have been on blue belts for 6 years because they're just like, here I am. It's not they're not 100% dedicated. It's like, you know what? They kind of roll when they want to roll, you know.
Well,
They're
it's
going to
just
stay there.
it's life, it's life. They roll when they are able to or they feel like it, and it's not a dedicated. I'm gonna roll 2 or 3 times a week,
Mhm.
every week for the next 10 years of my life until I get my black belt. Like
Mhm.
that's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication to get to that point. Like I'm
Mhm.
mad respect for. I mean, even people that get to a blue belt. I mean, because a blue belt, I think on average takes people at least 2 years.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean that takes a little of another level of discipline and
Yep.
training just to get there.
Mhm.
But then you got the purples, the browns, and then the blacks. Like you're not going to see a black belt until at least 10 years, unless
Yep.
you're
Oh, for
some
sure.
kind of prodigy by that mean. But yeah,
Yeah. Or if you're in a private camp, if you're in a private camp and you're rolling 7 days a week, that might accelerate your timeline, but for the most part, yeah, it's probably 7 to 10 years.
yeah, it's not something that comes quick. Even if you are a prodigy, you're not going to end up with a black belt, in 2 or 3 years.
Even still, you're probably looking at maybe 5 to 7, right?
Yeah, it does take quite a bit of dedication.
Hmm.
Um, but before we hop into that, um, talking about class this week, we did roll twice, which was great. I
We did
feel
roll
good.
twice.
I'm a little sore,
Hmm.
and we're talking about working hard and anything. Like the 2 days this week, even though they weren't super intense, they were probably two of the hardest days of training that we've had.
I would say.
I'm definitely after Monday and Thursday this week. I was feeling it a lot after both classes. Like I was spent, and then we even did it. We did active rolling. We did 3 rounds after Monday, and by the time we ended on Thursday, like I got nothing left. I'm
Yeah.
done. You have jujitsu got my entire tank this week.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, like our Monday class was intense. Doing a technique that we haven't done before. And it's very funny as we were walking in. I'm like, I kind of want to work on some half guard. I think half guard might be my new thing because I had just seen a couple videos, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I want to work on some half guard. I might like that, just
Yep.
from the positioning. And it's like I'm reading Breathe by Rickson Gracie, and I don't know if you've never heard of Rickson Gracie. He's obviously a Gracie, and Um, he's recently got his. I think recently, maybe in 2014 or 2016, was moved to Grandmaster. So he's one of the Grandmasters. Like
One of the
Helio and
few red belts.
yep. Um,
Is
but
he Helio's son, right?
Helio's son, yes, yes. Um, and it was Helio that actually gave him his belt. So I thought that was cool. Um, but you know in the person that's kind of wrote the foreword in the book, his name is Dean Lister. And Dean Lister is a 10th degree world champion, and I just happened to come across when I was searching half guard. I was coming across some of the half guard moves by Dean Lister. I'm like, hey, I know that name. He probably knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
watch it. And and the thing that kind of kicked me onto the technique that we worked on this week was it's like, you know what, the half guard, it's a it's dangerous for them, and it's also dangerous for you because you're about one move away from a sweep or a submission, but you're also move, but they're also one move away from a sweep or a submission. So it's a very dangerous move,
Yep. Yeah,
or a
it's
very
kind of
dangerous.
this precarious. I mean, it's half guard. Like it's 50-50.
Uh
From the
huh.
bottom you can sweep and get and get to mount or side control. But same
Hmm.
thing is they can put a lot of pressure on you from the top, and they're just one leg away from being in mount or side control. So
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where you were going to lead into is that it was, yes, it wasn't like an intense like act like we weren't active rolling for an hour, and
right.
first off, that would we wouldn't be talking right now because we would be in a hospital
I'd still
um
be on oxygen at
on
this point.
on oxygen. That's what I was gonna say. But I think it was so, and I don't know if intense is the word, more physically draining.
Yes.
Probably it wasn't because it wasn't intense. We weren't like back and forth, back and forth. It was no Eddie Bravo Hoyler Gracie
No,
match,
no,
which is
no, it
intense.
wasn't.
It was physically draining just because it's a hard position, especially if you have a heavier opponent
And I'm a
on
heavy
top of you.
opponent.
And I don't weigh like I'm not a bag of flour. So
But yeah, it was really really tough. But I got the thumbs up last week. You got a thumbs up from Johnny this week.
I did.
And
I did.
you can't tell me that didn't feel good.
It felt good because honestly, I think I told you after class, man, I felt like such a clod hopper, just trying to get those moves, especially trying to get one of the hook. I'm just like, I'm just can't do it. I'm spazzing out. I'm being a clod hopper. I can't. I don't feel, and especially on my left side, especially on my
Yeah.
left side, I'm like, I can't get there. I can't get my body parts where they need to be to actually do the move. I could do it. I felt I could do it okay on my right side. It took a minute because I am pushing up a super heavy and trying to do the sweeps and stuff. So I think I got my thumbs up on the when I was working from my right side. But yeah, from my left side, I'm just like I can't do this.
No, you currently struggle with it on your left
I
side.
currently struggle, and that's just it. And I did, and I think I tried to when we were practicing the technique. I'm like, I gotta get it on this side. I gotta get it on this side. I gotta get it. I don't know if I was out too far, or if I wasn't flat enough, or I needed to. As I was driving home, like I think if I can do that, I need to maybe pull him forward and do this and do these all different things. Next time I know I can, I'm gonna have different. I'm gonna have different kind of small, minute details to actually
Right.
do this the right way and stuff like that. But
And I mean that's where the
yeah,
practice comes in, right? That's why it
yeah,
takes 2
yeah,
years to get your blue belt because
yeah.
it's
It
all
was
these little minute changes in like polishing to all these things that make the huge difference. Like
well, and that
we had the set of blue belts doing it next to us, and he had it to the point where he could just he called it the delay sweep as Johnny was watching him, and he's like, "Yep, you see how much control you have? You can just wait. You can delay the sweep."
wait to sweep until you want to sweep. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's just too, and obviously that's where practice makes progression, right? It's like as even when Johnny was doing, he's like, oh, yeah, and see when you get him up here, he's so light. I'm like, huh. And every time I got you to that position, I'm like, this is not light. I don't.
no,
Is my
no,
technique wrong?
he's not.
Is my technique wrong? Because I feel zero. I feel quite a bit of weight on top of me still, and none of this is light.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
So
they were also picking up guys that were I don't know buck 30, buck 40 soaking wet.
probably.
When you've got 300 pounds smashing down on you, even up in the air, it's not light.
Yeah. So next time I'm like, can you show me? Do it with him and show me how light he is because he feels heavy.
He just had knee surgery, so he can't.
Well,
I would hate to hurt him that way. That just because he's trying to lift my fat ass.
well, maybe on Monday we can see if Matt can do it. But like, hey, can you do this move to him? Because he's supposed to be light, but I felt zero light.
This was not light.
No,
No, but that's
he
funny.
felt
You
less heavy.
yes, still heavy, but not as heavy.
Yeah,
But
it
you
was heavier less.
yes, but you talked about thinking about it on your way home, and I did too. And I've been thinking a lot deeper this week. Um,
How did it hurt?
it does. I don't flex my brain that much. So when I get into some deep thoughts, it hurts. I sometimes just get stuck and go to sleep.
You need some
Um,
Baylor or some Bayer or some Advil or something.
um, and we came up with our topic pretty early this week. Talking about motivation and discipline and dedication, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I've been thinking about it a lot deeper, I guess, than I normally would. And I have to say, like, jujitsu and doing this over the last 3 months or so is probably the hardest I've worked towards a goal of mine. Um,
Uh huh.
like I have my goals in our channel here, and I look at them every day. I update them, and this is the probably the longest I've stuck with something new that I've tried. Um, and it's definitely the hardest I've worked, and I've had the most drive to get better.
I can
Um,
see that for sure. Knowing the stuff that you've done in the past, I 100% would agree with that.
and I think for me, like I have the motivation. I came in Monday, and we were talking. It's like, hey, today's a discipline day. I'm here because I need to be here, right? I'm gonna be
Hmm.
disciplined. I'm getting that habit built, and Monday, because I wasn't feeling it last the Thursday, but Monday I was like, all right, I am ready to go. I was motivated.
Hmm.
I was ready to get going, and then it faded a little bit as we were going through, and I was getting tired. I'm like,
Hmm.
ooh, this is real hard, and
Yeah, I get you.
but but you know, just thinking about it kind of all week, like it's kind of I don't want to say relit that fire because the fire never went out, but I want to say it kind of stoked that flame. Um, I want to continue to get better. I want to, it helps. I lost a couple more pounds this week.
Hmm.
Um, it helps. It it helped me, I guess, reconnect why I'm doing this, and that's kind of like my motivation. Like that's what's getting me off the couch, eating Cheetos, watching TV twice a week,
Hmm.
going to the gyms. Like, I have a genuine love for this.
Right,
Um,
and I think too, kind of because you keep saying, motivation and discipline, and I think those are two. I mean, obviously, motivation is a very big thing, but with motivation, like motivation, I went to a kind of like a boot camp thing,
yeah,
probably maybe this time last year, and he was a great trainer, Thomas the trainer, if you look him up. Um,
Thomas the Trainer Engine.
Thomas the trainer, yeah, Thomas the trainer engine, if you can, if I can, but he's a great trainer. And he kind of he's like, you know what, motivation is fluff. Motivation's the fluff part of working out, but discipline is the sexy part, right? Because motivation produces an emotion. Like I'm excited to go. I'm gonna do this. I want to go, and then you get motivated, and then you end up at the gym. But discipline produces results. Results are disciplined driven. Motivation maybe got you there, but the discipline to get those results. But if you have results, is because you were disciplined to your plan. And I think you just mentioned you put those things perfectly, right? In your little in your little comment right there was that motivation is what's getting you to the gym, but the discipline goes farther than just the gym,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Discipline is discipline is the lifestyle changes that you've made, right? To be more active outside of the gym, to eat healthier, to not just sit on the couch and eat a bag of Cheetos, to do, instead of Cheetos, maybe I'm just gonna have maybe a healthier snack.
Hmm.
And and that's exactly what, motivation is an event, discipline is a lifestyle, right? And I think you're a prime example for that because you've lost 22 pounds. You're not you were motivated to lose 20 pounds, and you had
Yeah. Yeah.
that feeling of, heck yeah, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna be great, I'm gonna love it. But after that emotion passed, what are you left with? The discipline to make that happen. And
Right.
you made the changes, and here you are, 22 pounds lighter, more active outside of the gym, and probably rolling quite a bit better inside the gym. So,
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a very good point. And because there's been plenty of days where my motivation wasn't there. Rough day at work or just a busy day overall, and I'm just drained. We've both had those
hmm
days, and it's like I don't have any motivation. Like if I go home and I sit down, I'm not getting up off the couch.
hmm
Um, but the discipline is there, and we're far enough into it at this point that it's like, no, Monday's a training day.
hmm
I train on Mondays. Why do I train on Mondays? And then it's like, all right, well, I want to get better at jujitsu. That's why I train on
hmm
Mondays. I want to be more active. That's why I train on Mondays. It's all there. So and it kind of it plays within itself, right? So you have
hmm
your motivation, and sometimes motivation's enough to get you off the couch. Like if you're having a highly motivated day, those are probably going to be some of your best rolling days, right?
hmm
You're motivated. You want to be there. You want to do all the things. You want to, go 100%. But not every
hmm
day is going to be a high motivation day.
no, no.
Yeah.
And I think motivation gets you to a point until there's a choice, right? And that's kind of where the discipline needs to take over, right?
Yep.
Your motivation, my goal to lose, you know x amount of pounds, or my goal to get my first stripe. You know what? That's okay. Those are your motivators, right? These are my motivators. This is what I want to get, this is what I want to do. And then you come to a choice, right? You're motivated, it's going to happen. Then you come to a choice. Hey, I'm tired today, I can just go home and work on that goal tomorrow.
Yep.
Or I can go to the gym and actually get closer to my goal, right? And that's where discipline takes over,
Yeah.
right? If you are disciplined, every decision that you make will get you closer to your goal. If you're just running on motivation, not every decision you make is going to put you closer to your goal, because some of them are going to take you away from the goal,
Hmm.
right? It's like, I don't feel like rolling today. I'm going to go home today. And that's a motivation, because motivation at that point, because usually you have motivation, between probably maybe 8 and 11 in the morning, right?
Yep.
It's going to be great. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to go work out. It's going to be amazing. 5 o'clock comes around and it's like, it has been a long day.
Yep.
There's a Baskin Robbins on my way home. I can stop, watch my show, and then just veg the rest of the night. Or do I have to drive clear out here to work out, and then do this, and then roll on the ground with another sweaty fat guy? What do I want to do?
To
Well,
get even more tired.
get even more tired, and then Baskin Robbins is going to be closed by the time I leave. But then it's like, well, discipline's like, that's when discipline takes over. No, this is towards your, if you go rolling, get you closer to your gym, closer to your goal, to get your stripe,
Yep.
to lose your weight. I'm going to go there. That's what I'm going to do. And motivation kind of fades away. And you're like, yep, I'm doing it. I don't want to be here, but I'm here. You know what? And if I'm here, I'm going to give it whatever I have.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's there've been days, and there's been days where the that decision is won for us, right? It's like
hmm
we're both like we're just not feeling it today. Let's get back at it on Thursday, or let's get back at it on Monday, and
Yep.
that that discipline. I mean, we're still working on it, right? We're
Right.
still new. This is still not it's not a fully solidified lifestyle change. Like I feel like we're into it pretty far, and we've both made those changes. But there's times where it's like, no, it's just not gonna
Mhm.
happen today, and we make those decisions, and that's fine.
Mhm.
It's okay to make that decision, because if you're not gonna be into it or anything, like you can hurt yourself, you can hurt somebody else, and sometimes mentally you need a break. Like you're not gonna get anything out of training if you're
Mhm.
you're you're mentally not there, right?
Yep.
Like that's a big thing. It's like, cool, you can go through the motions or whatever, but what are you really doing?
Mhm.
And I can say, like, some of those discipline days, I'm really happy that I went to the gym. Um,
Yep.
there
Same.
there hasn't been a day where I didn't feel like going and I went, where I didn't come home with a big old smile on my face.
Mhm. For sure.
Every time I go and every time I come back, I always feel better. Even though my body
Mhm.
might feel worse, me personally, I feel better. I was like, I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went. I'm glad we did this. We worked on a new technique, or I did better. I got marginally better at this other technique,
Mhm.
and it felt good. I got a thumbs up from Johnny.
Yeah. You know,
I got
I
choked
think
out
yeah,
by Ben.
yeah, and I think and those things are great. And actually, as we're sitting here talking, I mean, I've been looking at it, and motivation and discipline kind of work together. And we talk about a lot. We talk about like our gas tank, right? When we're tired,
Yep.
we our gas tank is quick. Motivation and discipline are basically a vehicle, right? So motivation is the key that turns the vehicle on. However, discipline is the gas that keeps the vehicle running forward.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and that,
I get
and
that. I get that. I can pick up what you're putting down right now.
you pick up that analogy? You
Yeah.
picking up what I'm putting down? You know what I'm saying? Motivation, because you need something to turn the car on, right?
Right.
There is no
That's your
there is no discipline. There is no discipline without some type of motivation, right?
motivation's your gas
So
pedal, right? That
motivation,
starts your
yeah,
engine and gets you going.
yeah. Motivation gets you. Motivation is what creates discipline, right? Because now, okay, now I'm going, and then I kind of ran out. But you know what? I kind of liked it. I want to try it again. Well, I'm going to maybe need to go a little bit farther into it, going farther into it, going farther into it. And like sometimes when we talk about, sometimes I don't feel it today. Well, that gas tank is empty today.
Yep.
But as you get further into it and further into it and further into it, that gas tank is always going to have just enough to get you there. Just enough to get you there. Sometimes it's barely, but it's going to be once you put that key in, you have enough to get there. And so, and we're still kind of, to the point where we're disciplined-ish,
Yeah, we're better than we
like
were
we
when we would have been three
better than
months
we
ago.
were, better than we were, not as good as we will be by the end of next week. Um, but there's still like life changes that I personally need to make. I still kind of eat garbage.
It's
I don't
not a
eat
race.
I don't eat garbage. I still eat like garbage some days, um, which are they're fewer, but even still, I I will eat like garbage every now and then, or I maybe eat something that's a little higher in sugar than it needs to be. I mean, I haven't got on the scale in a while. I feel myself getting smaller. My new gi is quite a bit bigger, which makes
Yeah,
me feel
yeah.
better. Makes me feel good. I'm basically rolling in a tent one
Yeah,
day out of
your
the
new
week.
gi is pretty big. I
It's
bet
like, man,
I my not new gi. I bet my other A5 would fit you perfect.
you're the one from the gym.
Yeah.
Probably. I want to try that on before you sweat it up one day. Just to see how the jacket feels.
I mean, I tried yours on after you sweated it up.
I know.
I feel like I should
It's,
just repay the favor.
I I accept that.
I mean, I'm sweating all over you during class anyways. So
I know it's
what's
true.
different of putting on my gi?
I know you're sweating on me and you're table clawing me. So what's a little bit extra?
Hey, that's my signature finishing move right there.
Yep, the changeable claw.
So I wanna go back to your gas tank analogy. Um, motivation is your starter, it's your gas pedal to get you going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Discipline is the tank itself,
Yep.
and it's your gas. That's what continues to keep you going.
Yep.
I want to add another layer into it, and that's dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I think it goes. I think dedication is one more level deep. Um, I think it's very similar to discipline. It's what kind of it's very similar. Everybody it's used. Uh, they're used pretty interchangeably, right? It's like, oh, they're really disciplined or they're really dedicated. You
I'm
kind of get.
dedicated to this.
Yes, you get the same kind of ideas, right? Um, evokes the same emotion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, dedication is, I guess, one more layer deep than discipline. Um,
I think so.
dedication to me is once that discipline has solidified all of those lifestyle changes or all of these changes, and now it's just part of your life. It is part of you, and it is part of what continues to keep you going because
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get to a black belt in jujitsu without dedication.
No.
And you're not going to develop those habits. You're not going to develop those things without being motivated or being disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
I could say somebody could be fairly disciplined and probably make it to their blue belt over the a couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to make it all the way through to a black belt, like it takes something more. It's not
It
just
does.
it's not just discipline. If you're just being disciplined and going to the gym and you're training a couple times a week and it's like discipline's just what's getting you through, like you're gonna burn yourself out,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not until that discipline turns into dedication and that switch flips. And for me, I guess that kind of what, like, we're only 3 months in, right? And I wasn't feeling like I'm gonna drop out of this by any means, but that's kind of what it felt like to me after Monday, right? And then we were talking about all this, and I was thinking about it. Like I felt like that switch got turned on for me,
Mm-hmm.
and now, um, and I feel, I guess, more connected to my training and more connected to wanting to do this kind of stuff. And I feel a little bit of that dedication. It's like, all right, I want to be at the gym. Like, um, I wouldn't question if you're like, hey, do you want to roll tomorrow morning? They have open mat. You want to go tomorrow morning before we barbecue? Hell yeah, I'm there. Let's go.
Actually, I didn't know they were open on Saturdays, but I let's talk about that later because I mean I can't tomorrow because I have a football game to go to, um but yeah, I would for sure meet you at the gym on a Saturday morning, 100%.
Yeah, like,
And I think
and that's the thing. Like, and before I'm like, nope, it's the weekend. I'm taking this time, and now I'm just like, yeah, it's open mat. We're not gonna be exhausted from doing class, and we can roll
no, I'd
for a
love to
good
go.
half an hour, 45 minutes.
I'd love to go and be like, hey, let's this Saturday let's work on more half guard, or hey, can we work on guard, or hey, let's work on this, or I
Yeah,
would
even
love
if we just want to go through techniques or anything. Like right now, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm there, 100%.
let's make that after we get back from the cruise. Let's make that a plan. Let's talk about that some more. Or actually, let's talk about it on the boat
Yeah,
because
we'll have plenty of time.
I'm for sure down with that. So we'll figure something out. Um, and then using kind of the dedication thing. Um, like so motivation is the gas, or motivation is the key, right? And
Yep.
it's your accelerator pad to keep you get you moving forward. Discipline is the discipline is the one that is the gas tank that keeps the car moving forward. Dedication is the car itself, right? Dedication is the car. It's the entire the entire vehicle is dedication, and you take care of everything that is inside of that car to keep it going forward, right? And because dedication is, I think, discipline is very, motivation and discipline are very singular,
Yeah.
right? I'm disciplined towards this. I'm motivated and I'm disciplined to lose weight.
Yep.
I'm motivated and disciplined to get my stripe. I'm motivated and disciplined to belt up. I'm motivated and disciplined to do whatever, right?
Yep. Yep.
But that's all comes from your dedication to the sport of jujitsu, right? That's kind of what started that whole ball rolling. Was I'm in jujitsu, I want to lose all this weight, so it's a dedication to the sport. Rolling heavy is a prime example of being dedicated to a sport. We are dedicated to a sport that we are currently competing in, and so discipline, like you did say, discipline and dedication, they kind of get
Yep.
used interchangeably. Dedication is so much bigger. Dedication is such a has more of a encompasses more than just being disciplined towards something. I think it's a dedication is the sum of the whole, is what dedication is.
Yeah, it's putting the pieces together.
Yes, it's the finished puzzle. This is my dedication. This is my life's work, right? I was
Yep.
dedicated to this,
It's your 8 billion piece puzzle.
right?
In to go back to a jujitsu thing, it's an 8 billion piece puzzle of a black belt.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And for people that are dedicated towards weight loss, well, okay, I can. The difference between being disciplined towards weight loss is I am disciplined towards weight loss. So I am worried about my weight loss and and helping myself lose weight, right? People that are dedicated to weight loss create, you know, nutrition plans and workout plans and YouTubes and all these other things of this is how I'm I want I'm dedicated to weight, the science of weight loss. So that's kind of a discipline being singular for one person, dedication for kind of whole. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of, kind of. I get the direction you're going for sure.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm dedicated to weight loss, am I dedicated to my weight loss? Yes, at one point I was from discipline. I think discipline can morph or grow into a dedication, and once you're dedicated for something, you typically want to, spread the word and tell it to other people. And hey, this is what I did. This is what I was doing. Let me help you. That's just kind of, that's why we have jujitsu that we're talking about today. You know, you
Yeah,
know, Master Helio was disciplined to learn jujitsu. Then he dedicated himself to jujitsu, and then taught and created and shared his knowledge, and here we are.
yeah, very true, very true. And I don't think I don't. I mean, I don't think dedication necessarily has to be like spreading it out to the world. Like I think dedication is going to look different to everybody else. It's just like
Oh, that's just yeah.
there's a billion different cars out there in the world.
Hmm.
To use our car analogy, there's a billion different types of cars. What dedication is for me, and how I'm dedicated, is going to look different than what your dedication is.
Yeah,
And
I mean, like we might have the same car, but your car's blue, my car's red.
yeah, we're driving driving the same model.
Hmm.
We're both developing that dedication to jujitsu and getting better and progressing ourselves through the sport and get and all of the things that encompass jujitsu, right?
Hmm.
But our methods are going to be very similar because we're training together.
Yep.
But somebody who's maybe new coming into the sport or who has been doing it for a while, um, that dedication can look different. It doesn't have to be I'm going to start a podcast or I'm going to talk about this or I'm going to do all this kind of stuff. I'm going to share it out there. Um, it can be just like, look, I've made these changes. I'm disciplined. I'm getting myself to the gym multiple times a week, and then that rolls into their dedication, and they continue to progress, and it's different.
Hmm.
This is the way that we choose uh to continue, I guess, our journey through jujitsu, right? Um, if it's like we used to be with paintball. You remember we used to
Hmm.
play me and BOF. We were paintball addicts.
Hmm.
To for
And
for for for
and
lack
played
of a
at a
better,
place
and
called
we played
Paintball
at a place
Addicts.
called Addicts. Um, we played multiple times a week. We played every single weekend. We had all the gear, like we were in it. We played out tournaments. And if you got us talking about paintball, we would talk
Better,
your ear off for
you
hours.
better. I hope you packed a lunch because it's gonna be a minute.
Yep. And I don't care if you're super into it or not. Like, and I'm just gonna keep talking because we were
Hey,
so
you
into it.
asked the question. You asked the question. This is my answer to the question: is 4 hours of this, and this. So,
And to answer your question, yes, I did say hamburger. The reason it's called a hamburger is this. And then I'm
hmm
going to proceed to tell you why all of the different bunkers are called what they are.
hmm this is a this is a Dorito. This is a beer can.
This is a
This is a
lay down
snake, and
beer
this.
can.
Uh-huh.
This is a
What does it mean when
pyramid.
I say mirror? What does mirror mean?
Yeah, and it's that way for me now with jujitsu. I have a couple people I work with who've done some jujitsu, and I actually one of the guys is doing a tournament next weekend, and I'm happy we're going on vacation, but I'm sad because I can't go cheer him on at the tournament next weekend.
Where's he going?
There's one up north. I can't remember which one it is. I think it might be an Impact one.
Is it a non-gi?
No, it's Gi.
I thought I saw something. I saw some. Is it a not a teens and kids tournament, right?
No, that's this weekend.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, like, and I was gonna go cheer him on, but we're not gonna be able to because we have other plans. But yeah, and so like he and I will talk about rolling every almost every day. He talks about
Mhm.
what he's doing. I'm talking about what I'm doing. And he's a little bit farther in, but he's still a white belt too. Um, but yeah, and it's just fun. Like, and once we start talking about it, he's not as talkative as I am once we get into it. But it's something that we'll go back and forth with, and it's like, oh crap, it's half hour. We should probably get back to work.
Yep.
I hope
You
my
guys on
boss doesn't
strike?
listen to the podcast.
You guys on strike? No? Get back to work.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, and like I said, and to go back to what we were talking about, it's different. What his training looks like is different. He goes 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh, good
Um,
for him.
and especially now when he's has been training for the tournament, he's going quite a bit more. So um, and that's not what works for us. But and I don't necessarily want to say he's more dedicated than we are. But that's what it looks like for him, and that's not
He
quite
has
what it
the
looks like
available
for.
time.
Yeah.
He uses he is dedicating his available time to jujitsu. We are dedicated. I think we're the same dedicated. He just has more available time, right? He's developing his or he's dedicated. He's dedicating his available time to jujitsu. We're dedicating our available time to jujitsu. That's just two different time buckets. It's
Right.
all.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Cars. His car is different than my car, just like my car is
Hmm.
different than your car. It's exactly what it is. And so um, I guess where I was trying to go with this and to bring it all back was, don't compare your journey to somebody else's. This is something we've talked about quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. Your journey is uniquely yours. Just because somebody at a similar level to you is doing something different, Doesn't mean that they're better. Run your own race, right? Do
Hmm.
your own thing and compare yourself to you. As long as
Your
as long as you're
your
getting better at you,
yep.
that's all that matters. As long as
Your journey there sticks.
yep, and that's it. I mean, your dedication is your own. But so yeah,
Yep. No,
that's
I
that's
agree with
that's
that.
that's where I'm at.
Awesome.
um, yeah, and I mean I think that probably about wraps me up for today. Do you have any final thoughts?
Nope. All my thoughts are out.
Yeah, mine
I've used
mine too.
I've used all my thoughts and they hurt.
My brain hurts now.
Hmm.
Uh,
My brain muscles got a cramp.
yeah, I've been thinking way too much this week, but
Hmm.
I feel better for it, I guess.
That's good.
All right, well, I think that's gonna wrap us up for tonight.
I think we're
Um,
good.
you know, thanks everybody for the continued support. If you find us entertaining, please share us with your friends. We're on all the popular podcast platforms now. Gotten some work done. Um, so we're out there. So if you like us, please share us with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, possible words of the week, send them over to rollinheavybjj@gmail.com. And we will do our best. We had a viewer question last week that we spent a good almost hour and a half on. So we will
Mhm.
do our best for anything that comes through. Um, so yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening and keep rolling.
Be on the map.